Hello everyone and welcome once again to your very own channel Easy and Effortless Economics. In the last video we have talked about federal finance, and as I assured that in the next video we are going to discuss about the principles of federal finance. So this is another important topic that you need to know about federal finance. So without any delay, let's begin with the principles of federal finance. The principles that we'll be discussing today are principle of independence, principle of equity, principle of uniformity, adequacy, fiscal access, integration and coordination, principle of efficiency, administrative economy and accountability. So these are the principles that we are going to discuss today. So let's take up each one of them individually so that you have a clear understanding of the entire concept. Before starting with the video, I would just like to ask each one of you to stay tuned and alert while studying, because this is one of the important topics that you are going to find everywhere if you are studying public finance or you are going to appear for any competitive exam. So be alert, and if you have any difficulty, as I always say, do let me know. I am always here to help you out. So let's begin with today's lecture. Let's begin with the first one, which is principle of independence. So what does it say? The principle of independence basically means that every government should have the independence to decide upon that their internal matters or their matters, financial matters, are completely different from the other governments. So other departments or other segments have no right to interfere in the affairs of the government. So every government hold independent because their way of working is completely different. So let's see what does this principle says. It says, under the system of federal finance, a government should be autonomous and free about the internal financial matters concerned. It means the government should have the right to discuss and to evaluate its own matters. Nobody else has the right to interfere. Autonomous means complete control, its own control. It means each government should have separate sources of revenue, authority to levy taxes, to borrow money and to meet the expenditure. The government should normally enjoy autonomy in fiscal matters. Fiscal matters are the financial matters of the government. So government hold full control, full autonomy. They have the right to decide that from what are the sources they have to collect revenue and how they have to levy the taxes. So it is completely the decision of the government. So this is principle of independence. Now coming to the next one, principle of equity. As the word equity says, it says equal distribution between various states or various sections. From the point of view of equity, the resources should be distributed among the different states so that each state receives a fair share of revenue. It means that the distribution of the revenue should be in such a manner that each state receives an equal share, a fair share, which they can use accordingly. So this is principle of equity. Next is principle of uniformity. Uniformity means a simple way that is followed everywhere, but in practical sense it's not possible because every state has its own way of working. So this is the principle. Let's see what does it says. In a federal system, each state should contribute equal tax payments for federal finance, but this principle cannot be followed in practice, as I told you, because the taxable capacity of each unit is not of the same. It means every state cannot contribute in the same manner because every state has their own level of working, their own resources, their own horizon. So it's not at all possible. Next comes principle of adequacy. It says that there should be adequate resources with the government that they can employ where and whenever they feel like. It says the principle of adequacy means that the resources of each government, that is central and state, should be adequate to carry out its functions effectively. Means they have enough resources so that they can manage their work effectively. Here adequacy must be decided with reference to both current as well as future needs. Besides, the resources should be elastic in order to meet the growing needs and unforeseen expenditures like war, floods, etc. It says that government should have enough resources or the adequate resources so that in case any mishappening or calamities may appear like war, flood, they should have the enough money to tackle such difficult times. Next comes principle of financial excess. Let's see what does it says. In a federal finance, there should be possibility for the central and the state governments to develop new source of revenue within their prescribed fields to meet the growing financial needs. In a nutshell, resources should grow with the increase in the responsibilities of the government. Here it says that government should has the right, or they have the right, that they can develop the resources, or they can arrange resources in a manner so that they can utilize it whenever they require. So this is their financial excess. This is the excess which is being provided to them. Next comes principle of integration and coordination. As you all know, nothing cannot work if there is no coordination or integration between the governments, because a coordination is something which helps in the smooth working or the functioning of the economy. So it says the financial system as a whole should be well integrated. There should be perfect coordination among different layers. Different layers of the financial system of the country. Then only the federal system will survive. This should be done in such a way to promote the overall economic development of the country. It says there should be a proper coordination between different governments. Then only the economic development, that was the target of every government, that economic growth and development, that can be achieved only with the proper coordination. So next principle is the principle of efficiency. I hope this much is getting clear to each one of you. Just watch the video twice. If once you are not getting the entire idea or the clear concept, just visit it twice, just hear it twice, then only you can understand each and everything in the simplest or the easiest way, because my objective is to help you out in making the terms clear. So if you face any difficulty or anything, just let me know so I can make it more easier for you. Okay, coming to the efficiency, it says the financial system should be well organized and efficiently administered. There should be no scope for evasion and fraud. Evasion and fraud of taxes are the very common practices. So here it says that the efficiency is required so that this cannot be happen, because it is a loss to the economy. It is a loss to the country if tax evasion or the frauds are done in terms of taxes. No one should be taxed more than once in a year. Double taxation should be avoided. There should also be taken into consideration that nobody should be taxed twice, because everyone should be taxed once in a year and they can enjoy the benefits. They can enjoy, because paying tax is a liability, and that liability is that amount is going into the country, and then it is helping you out with the proper benefits. This is the efficiency. Next is principle of administrative economy. It says economy is the most important criteria of every federal finance system. That is, the cost of collection should be at the minimum level, and the major proportion of the revenue should be made available for the expenditure outlays of the government. To make it more simpler, it says that the cost of collection should be minimum, so that the major benefits can be obtained, and the amount which is given to the government, they can utilize in providing the maximum or the best facilities to the people and to the nation. Now coming to the last principle, it is principle of accountability. Accountability is answerable. It means that every government is answerable to its state, to the parliament, to the legislative assembly. It says each government should be accountable to its own legislature for its financial decision, that is the central to the parliament and the state to the assembly. It means central government is answerable to parliament and the state is to the assembly. So this is how these principles work. These are the principles of federal finance which help the federal system to work accordingly, because every option or every facility or benefit is provided from accountability, efficiency, administration, everything is being provided to the government so that the best possible or the best work can be done by the government. So with this, we came to an end of this chapter, we came to an end of this fiscal finance. I hope this federal finance that you have studied, which is at times fiscal finance, is the financial matters. So this federal finance, the concept of federal finance, the diverse sections of the federal finance and the principles, this is all that you need to know in federal finance. So keep watching, keep listening to the videos and stay tuned. In the coming video, we are going to start up with a new series that is on financial accounting. We are going to start up with the basics of the financial accounting, then we are going to move ahead. Along with that, every other topic of whichever topic of public finance is left, we are going to continue. If you have any other options, if you have any ideas or suggestions, please do feel free to let me know. You can join me on Facebook and on the Instagram, and you can provide your suggestions. whatever you feel like and the topics that you want me to come up in the coming lectures. So that's all for the day. I wish you all keep learning, keep smiling, stay positive, stay safe and keep studying. That's all from my side. Thank you everyone.